Yeah. Well, good morning and welcome to week 4 of the Olive Open Learning Initiative Intensive IELTS exam preparation and academic English. This is part 4, week 4. We are going to do a lot today because there's a lot to cover. I want to do a follow-up class on the task 2 essay. So remember last week we looked at structural grammar. How do you create a compound and complex accurate sentence? So if you don't remember that, if you missed that, please go back and review that. Um, Definitely work through the PDF of the class and do any of the exercises that are in that PDF for you. Um, so this time we're going to look at the exam from the inside out. And then after that, we are going to look at the speaking exam. And then we are going to have a review of the practice for the entire exam and possibly a little bit of news and levels at the end. Okay, so big day packed full of things. Let's get started. All right. So here we go. Writing 2, task 2. And here's the most important thing that we're going to say about the writing exam today. This is what I want you to take away from this. It's really important. And that is, it is not what you say in your essay, it's how you say it that counts. All right. Do you understand the question? Did you answer all the parts and stated your opinion? Did you write 2 paragraphs, each with a main idea and a single focus? Those focused paragraphs are super important. That's part of the how. And did you use examples to support your ideas? So that's what those are the most important parts of the writing task, too. So oftentimes people are really worried. Did I say the right thing? Am I, you know, how can I defend this opinion that I have? That's not the purpose of this. The purpose of it is that you can defend an opinion. It doesn't have to be yours. You can even lie. It's shocking. So I'm going to give you an essay and ask you some questions about it. Let's look at the introduction and see what we can learn. All right. So here's our introductory paragraph. Although it is customary to wear clothes in public, some people think it is natural to walk around in the nude. Clothes can be practical and pretty, but I agree with those who think that it is better and more natural to wear nothing at all. Right. Question. Is this essay going to answer? Can you figure out what the question was that was asked? What are some of the words that help you say that help you figure that out? What do you think? What was the question? Yes, this is supposed to be silly. This is the whole point. We're not defending um, the opinions that we're talking about don't have to be real and they don't have to be serious. All right. So can anyone tell me what? And you can just unmute yourself and say it. What do you think the question was? What was the writing prompt? Although it is customary to wear clothes in public, some people think it is natural to walk around in the nude. Clothes can be practical and pretty, but I agree with those who think it is better and more natural to wear nothing at all. What was the question? Sim, can you figure that one out? Do you have an idea, Jakob? Sinan? So we've got wearing clothes here, right?
Yeah, I think it is about wearing clothes in public.
Yeah. Okay. And what is the opinion of has the person stated their opinion? What is the person's opinion? Are they going to wear clothes or not wear clothes?
Yeah, it's better. It's better wearing clothes. It is natural, nothing at all.
Yeah. So it's better to not wear clothes. All right. So that's what this one's going to argue. What are the reasons that they're going to give for wearing clothes? What are they going to argue? Can you tell? Because I remember. Okay, so here's the question. Most people feel that clothing is necessary, but naturists think it is not. Discuss and give your opinion. Okay, so we have to discuss both sides, wearing clothes and not wearing clothes. What reasons? Okay, the reasons for wearing clothes. They've already told us what we're going to be talking about. Okay, so we're looking at how did they do this? What are they? So from this question, all right, is clothing necessary? Basically, discuss both sides and give your opinion. All right. Sorry, bouncy mouse. Right. Um, so clothes can be practical and pretty. Um, and the argument for not wearing them is going to at least include more natural. So, do you see how this introduction sets up our expectations for the essay? Okay. So, the person has summarized the question, added some details about what they're going to talk about. All right. So, that is a really good introduction because it tells you, it answers the question, it tells you what is going to be discussed in the paragraphs below. So, what do you think the breakdown of the paragraphs will be? What two paragraphs would you use to describe this, to answer this question? Think about that. And let's see what they did. Okay, here's our first paragraph. Now remember, most important thing is how you write this essay. Okay, so what does each paragraph have to have? Oh gosh, if my mouse would stay still. Sorry about that. I don't know why. I need a new mouse. Sorry. All right. So, what is the main idea of this paragraph? Remember from our reading exam, what do you read to understand what a paragraph is about? What's the easiest part? Read the first sentence. What does the first sentence say? Clothes are popular because of their looks and convenience. So that's usefulness and prettiness from our, all right. So clothes are popular. So that's what this paragraph is going to be about. Uh, do you think there'll be sentences in this paragraph talking about um, fashion shows or the fashion trade um, or clothing manufacturing? Do you think there will be um, do you think there will be sentences about clothing manufacturing in this paragraph? Should there be? What are we going to talk about in this paragraph? Two words, right? This is what's meant by a clear, structured paragraph. All right. Clothes are popular. This first sentence tells you what the paragraph is going to be about. All right. Now, what does it say? A bright dress or sharp suit can be very eye-catching and make you popular at parties. For example, a bright headscarf or fancy shirt will always get attention. Okay. Also, clothes are, so that's our first idea. That's their looks. Okay, so we've got examples, a description of looks, and an example. All right, to support the looks, right? Um, also, clothes. So now we also have to cover convenience, right? Also, clothes are good at protecting the body from sun or cold. And here's our example, right? So there's our second idea. Sweaters are used in cold weather by some people, and local women always wear dresses to keep their skin cool and protected in the summer. But though these are pleasant effects of wearing clothes, they do not make it necessary. Now, what is happening in this last sentence, right? So we've got our ideas. We've got, if I color key this, let's color key this to uh, okay, look, right. And then we've got our example, a bright headscarf, right? Uh, Gets attention. Okay, so that's important. We've covered looks. We've got convenience here. So I'll keep that in yellow, convenience. Um, oh, so grammatic error. Sorry, wear dresses to keep skin cool. Okay, so we'll do that in yellow. That's convenience, right? Clothes are good at protecting the body. All right. But what's happening in this last sentence? What is the author doing in this last sentence? What is that sentence doing? do you think? Is it supporting the ideas of the art of this paragraph? What is it doing? Or is it referring? The important thing about this is it is a link to the opinion. Okay. So we're talking, remember in the question, where's the question? There we are. In the question, we have to discuss and give your opinion. Remember at band 7, when we looked at the guidelines at band 7, you have to state your opinion and support it throughout the essay. Okay, this is signaling the next paragraph and linking to the opinion stated in the introduction. All right. Yes? Are you with me? Is anyone giggling yet? I mean, this is a silly essay. Okay, let's keep going. Let's see if we can understand the next one. What's okay? So here we are. Here's our introduction, right? Clothes can be practical and pretty, but I agree with those that think it's better to wear nothing at all. All right. So what's our next paragraph going to be about? We've covered practical and pretty. What's our next paragraph going to be about? Wearing nothing at all, right? Have I lost you completely? All right. Right. So once again, what is our topic sentence? What is our topic sentence telling us? What have we got? I really lost everyone. Come on. So this says clothes are superfluous. Might be a challenge word. We'll look that up. Okay. Because our skin and hair, but you can understand what it means by the context, right? Clothes are superfluous because our skin and hair are all the protection we need. Right? So now we're going to talk about the practicality. If it is too cold, one can always go indoors. If it is too hot, a bath or a shower is the simplest way to cool down. Further, although clothing can be bright and pretty, if you are not seeking attention, there is no need to wear anything at all. Right, clothes can bring unwanted looks and comments to the shy or less outgoing person. If you do not want conversations with strangers, going to town wearing only your epidermis, that means your skin. So I'll highlight that part too. Epidermis will make certain that no one will speak to you. All right. So, what are the ideas? We've got protection, right? And attention. So we've got protection and attention. Then we have examples for each of them. So let's look at the conclusion. In conclusion, even though clothing can serve some practical purposes, it is hardly necessary. Our own natural beauty can shine through our skin if that is all that we wear. Now, this is 300 words, and it fits and fulfills the demands of an IELTS essay. So, and we've noticed that we've restated it can be practical. We don't consider it necessary, and we don't need it for looks. All right. So let's look at that. How did they do it? Okay, so what were the two paragraphs? So one was the first one, I'm going to give you this one. One was for clothes. Oops, don't find the right clothes. Right? And what was the second one? Come on, I need your help. I can't do this alone. Against. There we go. All right. What were the ideas that supported wearing clothing? Oops. Oh no. The stuff was
Practical and
there.
pretty.
Say again?
Yeah, it is practical and pretty.
Yeah. Practical. And pretty. Okay. Excellent. What made them practical? What were the examples that were used? We can go back to the paragraph if you want.
Because it looks convenience.
Looks and convenience. Convenience, something that is convenient is something that is helpful. So we'll look that up. So what are our examples? So the words we used were eye-catching, right? So down here under pretty, we've got eye-catching. What else can we say about what else was said?
What about protection?
I'm sorry?
Protection, protecting from body, sun or
Protection.
from,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
It could be
And
practical.
yep. Yep. And under practical, it's protecting the body. Yeah. Just protecting the body. So we'll put that in practical. Right. Oops. Oh, come on. I'm trying for the ampersand. And cold. Great. And pretty and eye-catching. So fancy. You are at parties, right? Fancy shirts and more bright. That's there. Okay, those are the details that were added in that. What about protecting the body? What article of clothing was a good example of protecting the body? Do you remember? We'll look at it again. Sweaters
Yeah, sweaters.
and dresses. Exactly. Right. So this is what we're trying to do. This is what I mean about so what we're trying to recreate is these are the kind of notes that this person used in order to make that essay. Now, what notes did they make before they started writing? Okay. So that's all we're trying to do is to find those main ideas. Okay. Because those are the ideas that they used in order to, okay. So if we look at the argument against clothing, so we've got most of our argument for clothing, right? It's practical and it's pretty. Fantastic. Those are our two main supporting ideas in our why people should wear clothing, right?
Yeah.
And now we've got our argument about why don't they have to? Why are clothes unnecessary? Right? Um, so our first word there, as you see, there we go, was protection, right? Okay. So if we say protection down here, what so it's usually like the others, it's going to be hot and cold.
Yeah.
And what are the examples of what they use for protection? Why do we not need clothes for protection? And yes, this is supposed to be silly. So we've got go indoors, right?
Yeah.
Go indoors.
Or having a
And
bath or shower.
yes, exactly. And a bath or a shower. Exactly. There we go. So we go down here. So this is go indoors. That's our examples. And I'll just bath or shower. Okay. So we're recreating the notes that this person made in order to write these paragraphs. Okay. What was the other one?
Yeah, seeking attention.
Yes. Or just, yeah,
Yeah.
protection and, yeah, attention. All right. So if you're not seeking attention, so if you're seeking attention, um, what do bright clothes do?
It brings other unwanted looks and shy.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. There we go. What else? So, and our last point on this one. Do you think this is true? No one will talk to you if you are naked? Okay. What do you think? So, what we're trying to do, this is why we're just pulling apart this. So, we read the introduction and we found the question that was being asked, right? That was the question. What's the question? The question is most people feel that clothing is necessary, but naturists think it is not. So remember, I said there's always a value word that you need to look for in every uh, task two question, right? What's the value word in this one? What's that value word? What's the word that actually is the reason we could write this particular essay completely, right?
Yeah, whether it is necessary or not.
Yes, that's exactly it. We're really, the whole essay is going to be about whether clothing is necessary or not. All right. Now, could you take a different position in this essay? Of course you could. Do you think that the author believes what they're saying? Because I'll tell you, I wrote this one and I wear clothes all the time. A whole point of this exercise and a whole point of this essay is that it is to reinforce what I said at the beginning. It is not about what you say. It is entirely about how you say it. All right. Each of these paragraphs has a clear topic sentence, right? We've got a clear topic sentence in each paragraph. We know each paragraph discusses one idea or point of view. All right. All of the supporting ideas in this paragraph have examples as well. All right. The structure of this is the point because that's what you're being marked on. It doesn't matter if you're arguing that everyone in the world should walk around naked. Probably not going to find many people who agree with you on this point. But if you can support it, you'll still get the marks. That's all that matters. It's how it's written, not what is written. Okay. So long as it flows logically. So, can you see a logical progression in this argument? Right? We can pull out. This is the notes that the person made in order to write this. Okay, these are the main ideas. These are the examples that were used to support it, right? And that's the key to the task 2 essay. Any questions on this at all? So the important points that come from this, once again, it's not what you say in your essay, it's how you say it that counts. So write the essay that is the easiest to organize. All right. So look at that question and figure out, okay, what do I do? You know, when you're making that chart of ideas, what do I have the most ideas about? What are the most examples I can think of? That's the one to write. The opinion you can think of the most examples for, that's the one to write. Use the best vocabulary you have, but try not to overreach. Try to make sure that you're using words that you're confident with. Okay. And most importantly, use examples. They support your ideas, they fulfill the requirements of the essay, if you remember from the marking scheme, and they demand compound and complex sentences. Let's go look at that for a second. Okay. For example, a bright headscarf or a fancy shirt will always get attention. Also, clothes are good at protecting the body. Let's see. Yeah. So we've got compounds. All right. We've got several compound sentences. Sweaters are used in cold weather by some people, and local women always wear dresses to keep their skin cool and protected in summer. So this is probably our strongest sentence in here, because we've got by some people is a phrase that is describing who's using them. And we've got, so that makes it a complex sentence. And this is a compound sentence because we've got the conjunction and in there as well. Okay. This and doesn't exist because it doesn't count because it is part of a list in cool and protected. But this is our strongest sentence in this paragraph because it is a compound and complex sentence. So that's the one that bumps you up into band 7. All right. So you're using a variety of sentence structures. That's the one we're trying to hit on. And it is through examples like that that we most easily achieve those sentences. All right. Right. If anyone's got any questions about how this all works and why this works, I hope that unwriting this essay has been helpful. Um, I hope also that you found it slightly amusing. I laughed a lot while I was writing it. Uh, it's pretty silly. And there we go. So we're going to move on now to the speaking exam. All right, that's the one last piece we haven't covered yet. So let's carry on. Before we go there, yep, there we go. But before we start that, I want to ask you now and talk about this. I would like to offer you a mock exam experience. So the only question I have is is a Tuesday, is this time the best time for it. If we were going to do it, it would be next week, next Tuesday, if you want to try a mock exam with me. Then we can talk about it afterwards. Um, I can offer this next Tuesday or on a Saturday if that's better. But so I just wanted to put that out there. And so if you've got opinions about that, do let me know. Um, and anybody who isn't on the WhatsApp group yet who would like to be, please actually I'll make sure that that link goes out as well. All right. But I'll do that during the break. So, right, the last piece of this exam. Whoosh, we've been through so much together. Timing the speaking test, it's 11 to 14 minutes. It's the shortest bit. It is one-to-one with an examiner. All right. A face-to-face interview. Speaking test is recorded because it is marked not only by the examiner that you are talking to, but someone else will watch, will listen to that recording and confirm the marking. Okay, so both the speaking test and the reading test are marked by two separate examiners to make sure that the scores are fair. All right. There are three parts. The first begins with an introduction and interview. So from the minute you say, hello, my name is, the exam has begun. And then there'll be a few questions about that are just about getting to know you. And so as we recall, remember this is an exam that goes from that marks from 0 to 9. So at the beginning of the so this does get more complex exactly as the exam continues. And you'll see that we're going to look at some recordings. So the introduction and interview. How's your basic grammar and sentence construction? All right. So I'm going to ask you one thing. I'm going to ask you one thing. Hi. Um, okay, I'll ask you two things. One, where are you from? Okay. Where are you from? How would you answer that? You can either type it in the chat or you can turn on your mic and tell me. Where are you from? No, I'm really asking. But I would say, if I were answering, I would say, I'm from London, but I was born in Texas. So answers in the first part, you want to give a short answer with a slight extension. And that shows your grammar ability. All right. The second part is an individual long term. People say you have to give a talk or you have to talk on a subject. And I'll tell you the secret to part two, tell me a story. Okay. Make it personal. Tell a story. Make it as personal as you can, because that allows you to reach into that vocabulary hoard that you have that you aren't even aware of because you've absorbed that language while you were learning something else. Okay. You're given a minute to prepare your talk. Do exactly what you do on the task two writing exam. Make sure you write down a few details, some examples you want to use, maybe a bit of vocabulary that you want to use. You've got a minute, write down some important things. Okay. And then you will be able to make it through 2 minutes of talking about a subject. I cannot count the number of students who have come back and said, you for telling me to make notes. I got lost halfway through talking and I could look down and keep going because I'd made notes. All right. And on part 3, it's a two-way discussion. The examiner will ask further questions related to a topic on part 2. These questions are designed to extend, to give you the opportunity to show how good your grammar is, how wide your grammar and vocabulary are. And you'll see that in the recordings. They're really aimed. This is, again, remember, listening to the questions, making sure you understand the questions really helps. So in part 1, it's important to make sure you listen to the questions so that you're answering the one that was asked. And in part 3, they're asking you to extend your grammar. All right. Because their job is to be your advocate. Their job is to see how high you can go on the speaking exam. Okay. So let's look at the marking. Again, fluency and coherence. Fluency is how easily can you start and continue speaking. All right. So if you can't think of a word, don't sit there and think about it. Talk, describe what the word means. So talk around it. You can circumlocute. It's a way of describing the word that you're not able to say. And it counts because you're still talking. Lexical resource refers to your vocabulary. You can stretch on this if you get a little bit wrong. It's not the end of the world. The most important thing throughout all of this is how well you can be understood, right? That's really the key to it all. All right. Can you be understood? And that's where pronunciation comes in. It's not about do you have a British accent or an Australian accent. It's can you be understood? All right. So clarity is everything, absolutely everything. So let's look at band 7. Speaks at length without noticeable effort or loss of coherence. May demonstrate language related hesitation at times or some repetition and or self-correction. All right. So even at band 7, you can, oh, wait, I was going to say this. Let me restart that sentence and say it this way. You can do that and still get a band 7. All right. Um, the so that's really important. So you want to um, make sure that you can keep talking. That's the important part. So speaking part 1, what is your favorite food? Okay, um, if you were asked that, what would you say? What is your favorite food? Right now, I'm asking you. We're pretending we're in part 1. We want 2 sentences are the best. So tell me right now, Jacob, what is your favorite food?
Rice and chicken. Rice and chicken.
Excellent. Rice and chicken.
Yeah,
Okay. Now, give me a second sentence. Why? Tell me why.
because it's the traditional food in our country, and we used to eat it every day in our country.
Fantastic. That's perfect. You can say rice and chicken because, right? And that's all you need. Okay. All right. That's perfect. Yeah, I hate that question. It's rather general, but that's okay. Anyone else want to try answering that question? Wasim is gone. Where's Wasim? Oh, okay. All right. All right. So that's what part one is like. So always expand your answers. So you want to give an answer, you can say, oh, my favorite food is rice and chicken because it is the traditional food of my country. uh, my favorite food are fresh figs because they remind me of my grandmother's garden. All right, that would be mine. So, um, that's the way to answer the first ones. That way, so if you say, if you're asked, what's your favorite activity? Think about, obviously, you're going to say the what? What's your favorite sport? Okay,
Running.
can anyone? Running, excellent.
Yeah.
So if we're in a conversation, now we're in the speaking exam. What's your favorite sport, Mustafa?
My favorite sport is running because I like it. I don't need to it's don't need to apply to wear any equipment or apply for cost or something. It's free and it's easy for me.
Very good. Very good. It's free, it's easy, I don't need equipment. That's a
Yeah.
great answer. All right. So, with part two, once again, I'm going to talk about tell me a story. So, we'll see some examples of these in just a second. All right. So, the trick is to make notes. You will be given a piece of paper and a pencil. Um, take a big deep breath. Does everyone remember what I said about why do I say take a big deep breath? What does that do? What does that do?
Yeah, it gives to mentally ready.
Yes, very much. It changes the blood flow in your brain. It allows you to really think. Perfect. Excellent. So there we go. And this is what they look like. So here's an example. So describe a person you know who you think is successful. And this is what the card will look like. It will say, you should make sure that you can answer all of these three. You do have to cover these 3 points. Okay. Plus. Okay. So think about answering all of that. All right. It's an outline. So, what are you going to write for notes for this? What do you think? What would you write for notes if this was your exam? Think about that for a minute. What do you think?
I didn't understand your question.
Okay, well, what notes would you make if I handed you this card as the examiner,
Hmm.
right? Think about it. How would you answer this question? What would you talk about for 2 minutes?
Shows the
What's
shows the
what story can you tell me? Go on. Who would you choose? What's the yeah, you got to think on your feet. So, right now, who would you choose to talk about?
I will choose someone who I know about him enough. First
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah.
Um, maybe he is my role models.
Yeah. You could describe a famous person. You could describe someone you know. It could be either.
Yeah.
All right. Um, if it's a famous person, how often do you see each other? Well, not personally, but I see them on television or I see them, in other places. Um, what do they do? No. And who that person is. All right. So when you're making notes, don't write full sentences because just like in the writing test, if you write full sentences when you're making notes, you'll use that sentence more than once in the main document or talk. So just write phrases. Make sure you cover all of the points. Follow the same sequence. Okay, so talk about the person, who it is, how often you see them, and what they do, and why you think. So answer it in that order. And write at least two pieces of information for each point. And scribble down some vocabulary while you're at it. It will really help while you're talking. So let's look at a set of notes. Okay, this person made this set of notes. Do you think that is a good set of notes? Is that good notes? What do you think? Could you talk for 2 minutes based on what is written there?
Yes.
Yeah. Um, I think you're going to run out of things to say because you're going to forget things. Because once you've said, uh, the person I want to talk about is my mom. I see her twice a year. She's a businesswoman and she started her own business. And she's successful because she never stops working. Oops. Was that 2 minutes? Not even close.
No.
So, how do you write some details so that you know what you're going to talk about? All right. So here's another example. This is so this, if you forget what you were going to say, you've got nothing to help you on letter A. On letter B, if I forget what I was going to say, I've got, oh, right. I can talk about her name. I can talk about the difference between when I was growing up. Obviously, I saw her every day, but now it's 2 to 3 times a year. And so you see how much the detail helps. All right.
Okay.
And here we go. And he's even put in some detail, some vocabulary that he wants to use to describe this wonderful person. So, what do we think? Do we want to make notes like A or
B.
notes like B?
B.
Yes. Because
More
now
detail.
it's going to be easy.
Yeah. More details in B.
Exactly. And that's enough so that if you forget what you're going to say next, because we do that, right? Our minds go blank. Big deep breath again, but there's not a lot of time to do that in the middle. So you can look down, see the notes. Right. The next thing I was going to say was how creative she is.
It's like presentation slide. When I want, if I
Very
want,
much. Exactly. Exactly. Right. So, and then in speaking part 3, this is the expansion. This is where you're going to be asked questions to expand on the subject, to take that subject and look out into the wide world. And now what I'd like to do is take us over to YouTube to look at some videos. So I'm going to stop share for a second because I don't think when I shared, I put the audio on. Nope, I didn't. Okay, so we're going to go back on. And now, yeah, I'm going to bring up this. So, let me get the chat up. So I'm going to give you the link to this folder. It's actually kind of hidden on YouTube, but these are actual speaking exams that were video recorded specifically for training purposes. When your speaking exam is recorded, it will be just audio recorded. They don't video record them normally. All right. So now there's a couple of things that I talked about. I have said several times that the examiner is your advocate. All right. Their job is to ask you questions in a way that shows how high you can go. All right. And so I want you to watch this one in particular. We're going to watch Henrik here at band 7, since that's most people are aiming for. And we're going to watch him, and I want you to listen carefully to the questions, because that's what we're going to talk about afterwards. And I want you to tell me, how does she help him out during this? Okay?
Okay.
Now, we've been talking about a well-known person you like or admire, and I'd like to discuss with you one or two more general questions related to this. Let's consider, first of all, famous people in your country. So in Germany, what kind of people are famous?
Mostly sports people, I would say. Like, our favorite sport is soccer, so yeah, people who play this sport. Famous as well are politicians, but they are not admired, or they're not liked or anything
So there's
like
a
that.
difference between being famous and being admired.
I think so, I definitely think so, yeah.
And politicians are only famous.
They are only famous because it's easy to blame them for everything what happens. At the moment, we have the financial crisis in Europe, especially Greece and Ireland really have to suffer at the moment. And yeah, it's easy to blame something. You can't blame a soccer player, but it's easy to blame the politicians.
How about movie stars? Are they also famous in Germany?
Yeah, they are also famous, but not the German movie stars or music stars. We don't have a big, a big branch of this. More, American, mostly U.S. American movie stars. But it's hard to, it's hard to think that they are our role models, anything like that. They are living on the other side of the lake, and yeah, they're just in the television.
What about in the past? What kinds of people were famous in the past?
Especially in the 70s, 60s, I would say musicians, because of this freedom, of this lifestyle we had there. Yeah, these musicians who lived this.
And how about the future? Can you give me a prediction for the future?
Definitely not bankers.
Not bankers.
Yeah, because of the financial crisis again. Yeah, that's a good question. Maybe people who serve the planet and who wants to save the planet, work for this, so environmentally people, would be quite likely because we have this theme of global warming at the moment. It's well discussed, and so I would say this could be likely.
Now let's talk about celebrity culture. Often famous people are used in advertisements. Can you give me some examples of that?
I don't watch a lot of television, but television or see advertisements, so I can't give many examples actually.
Well, how about for instead of for products, how about celebrities being involved in advertising for causes or charities. Have you seen examples of that?
Yeah, sometimes like for environmentally things. I can't name any celebrities, but it's quite often that they use this image. A celebrity has done something in his life, and many people admire him for the one or the other reason. So it's quite a good thing that they use a celebrity because he, as a role model, yeah, stands for something, and he stands yeah, for the environment or maybe for a product. So the people who admires him, yeah, wants to buy this product, wants to do something for the environment.
Now let's change to the negatives. What kind of possible negative effects might a celebrity have on younger generations?
Yeah, as I said, they are role models for many people. And this rugby star who was in the television the last weeks and months, go on the wrong path and taking drugs or yeah, just living the wrong lifestyle, then yeah, the young people think, hey, it's cool what he's doing. So he's famous, he has money, he's taking drugs, so hey, that fits together. I want to do the same.
So you think that his behavior actually can influence how younger generations choose to lead their lives?
I definitely think so, yeah.
So do you think that a celebrity has a moral responsibility to behave in a better manner in public?
As long as he is famous, as he is in everyday life, he definitely has. He's not only the normal person. If he is at home, it's okay what he's doing. I don't care. But yeah, at the very moment he goes public or is on television or in the newspapers, he definitely has a responsibility because millions of people are watching what he is doing.
So would you say that there's an obligation that a person who becomes famous, they have an obligation to behave in a more ethical or moral manner?
Yeah, and if he can't stand this pressure, then yeah, he should take care that he's not being famous somehow. I don't know whether it's possible somehow, but yeah, there is this obligation definitely.
Well, thank you very much. That's the end of the speaking test.
Thank you.
Right. Oop, there we go. Yep. Okay. So what did you
Now,
think?
we've been talking about a well-known person you like or admire, and I'd like to discuss with you one or two more general questions related to this. Let's consider, first of all, famous people in your country. So in Germany...
There. Sorry about that. Okay. Let's go back to talking about, there we go. There we go. All right. So this is the analysis of him. What did you think? What did you think? Did you hear what she was doing with the questions? And what did she do to help him out at one time? Are we still there? Did you hear? There was a moment when he said that he had no
She's asking him
no
about famous people in his country.
Yeah. And so obviously his question was about a famous person that person that he admired, right? When did you hear the moment when she helped him out? Do you remember the moment when he said, "Oh, I don't watch television. I wouldn't see celebrities' advertisements"? What did she do then? When he said, "I don't really watch television, so I wouldn't see advertisements like that," she said, "Well, how about celebrities who support environmental causes, since that was what he did have experience with. Okay. Did you hear that? That was the important part. I just wanted you to see that, if you're asked something that you really just don't, it's not something you do or are involved with or have ever experienced, you can say, that is actually not something I have experience with. I can talk about other topics, but I've never seen a celebrity advertisement because I don't watch television, right? So this is what I meant when I said that the examiner is your advocate. I wanted you to see how she was supporting him for that. So that said, what other, we can watch one or two more. Is there a band level that you would like to see? That was a 7. Part 3, we've got, oops, with it that narrow, I can't see the band level. There we go, band 8. Okay, 8, 9. Yep, I don't know. Where is she? Band 7. Okay. Or Monica, band 8. So what would you like to see? These are mostly part 3. There's one part 2, a couple of part 2s. So what would you prefer to see? Yes, no? I like the part 3s because it's what I mean about listening for the questions. On that one, she was asking about what are positive things that celebrities can do for supporting causes, and then what are negative effects of celebrities on the wider society, right? And that gave him a chance to expand what his language. So is there one that you would like to see? I got, there's a part 2. Shall we look at a part 2 one? This is a 6.5. What do you think? Let's give it a try. See how he does. I haven't seen this one myself, so.
Now I'm going to give you a topic, and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. Before you talk, you'll have 1 minute to think about what you're going to say, and you can make some notes if you wish. Okay. Understand?
Yes.
So there's some paper and a pencil for making notes, and here's your topic. I'd like you to describe a well-known person you like or admire.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Now remember, you have 1 to 2 minutes for this, so don't worry if I stop you. I'll tell you when the time is up. Can you start speaking now, please?
Okay. I should describe a well-known person that I would like to meet or admire. This person is called Madonna by many people. It's her name, which was given by her in her birth. I would like to meet her because I admire her because she's the most popular singer. She's a legend and a pop icon in the world. She is well-known pop star, and I admire her because of her background, because of her, because she sings very well, and she's got nice songs. and she inspired many people by her creativity and style, and fashion style as well. And I admire her as a normal person, as a mother of a son and a daughter, and what she's done in the past. That she supported many organizations and funds many people, and she earned her money by herself. She went with $34 from home to New York, and she's got nothing when she came to New York. And I think that's the thing that I admire her. And everyone knows her, and some people don't like her and think that she is nasty, and she did nasty things in her life, and because she was talking too much about feminism, about some things, some sort of things which linked with sex. She encouraged many people to fight for their rights.
Thank you. Do your friends feel the same way about this person?
I think so. I'm not. Most of my friends that don't like her. I like her because of her, because she's a legend, I think.
Thank you.
Right. So there's an example of, well, how do you think you did? Oh, sorry about this. This makes it so hard to. There we go.
Now
There we go. Now it's shut down. So what did you think of that one? Did he make effective notes, or did he run out of things to say? And that was a 6.5, by the way. So still in the range that we're looking for. But what do you think? What did you think of his notes?
He explained this was she asked him about the person he liked was neither.
Okay. What do you think? Do you think you'll be able to make effective notes? We can give it a try. Okay. But I hope that from this you've really come to understand that the examiner really is your advocate. Okay. They are going to ask you questions in ways that will assist you in demonstrating your English level. So that's the key. Don't forget to take a deep breath. All right. So here's of the course, there's always going to be some extra resources at the end of this. In fact, I'm going to make sure that I've got this copied. Yeah, I'm going to copy that link and make sure that this is the correct link, because they changed the link. Oh no. No, it's there, but it's in the wrong color. All right. There we go. There we go. So there's the there we go. So there's the British Council recordings, just to make sure it's the right link. Right. Any questions about the speaking exam at this point? Feel like you understand? Do you remember how long does it take? What's the most amount of time you'll spend on it? 11 to 14 minutes. So it's the shortest of all the exams. You're going to use the first section to demonstrate your basic grammar. You're going to tell a story in the second part so that you can demonstrate your fluency, your ability to keep talking, right? And in the part 3, you will listen carefully to the questions and use them to help you expand your grammar and vocabulary. And that's how you'll win. So we can take a quick tea break now, and then we're going to review the strategies for this exam, starting from the beginning. Okay, so we're going to do a quick review of the exam from top to bottom. And I'm here for questions, absolutely. But my throat's getting scratchy. I need a short break, but keep talking. Let's discuss what we're doing, but I will pause the recording right now. All right. So we won't have time to do all of the exercises, but I will make sure that you've got the resources to do all of them as well. So off we go. So don't forget, I always keep these resources. Okay, here's a quick question. Here's a quick question. Have you used any of the resources? Somebody wave a hand. Have you used any of the links or resources? Have you been able to access them? Okay. All right. Well, I will keep providing them and hopefully you will use them. If you do use these once a day, just pick one, use it. There's nothing, you can't do too much. So every day, just pick a resource, do a little work on it, whether it's reading a exam question, like one of the task writing questions, or going to a reading section and doing that, or going to Fast Track IELTS and watching one of her videos. Those also help. Asia is brilliant. I love the way she teaches. So all of these things will build your skills over time. Please, if you are headed for, if you've got an IELTS exam, and if you need a recommendation in order to get funding or anything of the sort, stay in touch with me, either here, either through my email address or on WhatsApp. You're always welcome to talk to me on WhatsApp. And I can help you prepare for any upcoming exam. So we could actually put together an English discussion group for just basic English language building if you would like as well. So that's another possibility. If you don't think your English is quite up to the level of doing making it through the IELTS, then we could set up a regular meeting, like once every other week, to speak to each other in English for practice, and work on a particular aspect of English language or grammar at that time. I'd be really happy to do that as well. So, right. All good. Let's see. So, this is a test of communication. What are the receptive skills? listening and reading. Can you understand what you hear? Can you understand what you read? So actually, yeah, it's more about can you find the information you need in what you hear and what you read, right? And can you express yourself? Today we've been talking entirely about expressive skills. Can you describe data? Can you express an opinion and support it with examples? Now, part 2 of the speaking exam is once again a place where if you want to say something, but you want to give examples of it as well, as we saw with those notes that we examined with lots of details in them. So it's all about, can you communicate? Can you understand? And can you communicate? And there we go. So throughout it, the questions are the key. The answers are found in the questions. What does she want you to say? What does the examiner want you to say? Well, listen to their questions. What are we talking about? That's the key. So listening, you need the questions in order to know what you're listening for. In the reading, you need to understand the questions so that you know what you're reading for. In the writing, you need to understand the question if you're going to get a full quarter of the marks on the exam. It's about understanding that question. And in speaking, they will guide you to use further language. So, right. I'm not going to read that one. We've done it before. But we've got a reading practice here. Let's try it. Oops, I thought I fixed that. Did I fix that? Okay, sorry about that. I know I fixed that, and now it's still there. Oh well. Oh, it's that one. There we go. So, okay, I will read through it. 60 minutes. There is not enough time to read both. What are you going to read first? The questions. Okay, so on this page, here we go. Choose the correct heading for this paragraph. Which of these tells you which is the correct heading for this? So a quick scan of the headings. Is it about temperatures? Is it about, what a greenhouse is? There we go. Is it about the planet? Is it about the planet? Is it specifically about plants? That grow specifically in a greenhouse, right? So again, is it about the atmosphere of the Earth? Is it about the atmosphere? Don't know. Is it about why? What reason would people have a greenhouse? What would you use a greenhouse for? So which of these questions? So if you turn these into questions, is it about temperatures? Is it about what a greenhouse is? Is it about how, about the planet, how the Earth works is a greenhouse? Is it about plants? Is it about the atmosphere? Or is it about why people would bother to have one? I don't know. Which one is it? So now we know what we're looking for. So read that first sentence and make a guess. Read the first sentence in the paragraph and make a guess. What do you think?
What is a greenhouse?
It certainly looks like it, right? That first sentence is all about what is a greenhouse. Now, all we have to do is skim through here. Okay, they mentioned tomatoes. Do they mention other no, it doesn't. No, it's not a bunch of plants. There's only a few mentions of plants, right? So it's not about plants. Is there anything that says anything about the planet? Can you see the word Earth in here? Remember, we're just scanning for these individual words. All right, we've got plants, but we don't have a lot of plants. So it's probably not about plants that grow in a greenhouse. Okay. Is there anything about the Earth's atmosphere? Do you see the word Earth in there? You don't have to read every word to match that shape. Just skim for it. It says people, so we've got people, okay. But is it about why? No, that's just what people use them for. Okay. But the overall. So what I'm trying to show you is that you can very quickly scan for the other words and realize that no, none of the other words are significant. All right. Can you see that? But none of the other words for the other headings actually are in here. Okay. Not in a meaningful way. So we have our answer. It really is about what is a greenhouse, isn't it? Great job. Okay, so that's our talent. That's our skill. This is what we need to practice. We need to practice understanding that question and scanning for the answer as quickly as possible. So good job on that. All right. And of course, there are practice resources here. So I highly recommend that you practice some of these. IELTS lists the information and tips. The reading tip that I really want you to just use her examples of the different question types. Some of her advice on writing and other things I don't agree with. So, but her explanations of the different question types for reading are excellent. So, the listening test again. Now I will give you the, oh, actually, there we go. This is the link for this one. So if you go to this link here, you will have the audio for this. All right. So I will tell you what I'll do. I will give you this in two pages. So one with the without the answers and one with Okay, so that you can work your way through that. All right, so that's a really good practice. So here's some additional ones. Her listening recommendations are good. I still prefer, of all people, I like Asya at Fast Track English, IELTS. She is still the best YouTuber for IELTS advice. All right. So, what are the two parts? What is the first part of the writing test? What do you have to do in task 1 for the academic IELTS? What do you have to do? Two words. Describe data. Yes. All right. And what is the key task of task 2 that we just looked at earlier today? Ultimately, it's really about supporting an opinion. Can you take an opinion on something and support it adequately? All right, and logically, even if it's a ridiculous opinion. All right. So the notes you make, what's the most important minutes in the writing exam are the first 5 minutes. The notes that you take, like that little chart that we made when we pulled all the information out of the essay that we unwrote at the beginning of this class today, right? Those notes, that analysis, what you put in there determines half your mark, because you can't write an organized essay without it. You can't write an organized essay without it. You need to spend a moment with task 1. I didn't go into a lot of detail on organizing task 1, but you have to find the data points and trends, find the relationships between the data, make notes of the vocabulary you want to use, and number your notes so that you know what order, what groupings are you going to use to describe that data. And then you've got your first sentence. What's the first sentence of task 1? Describe that data. This pie chart shows the changes between this year and that year for, what was it, the one we saw before, rice production in the world, right? This line graph shows the changes in, right? And an overall statement. Overall, we saw that, what was it? I think Google was flat, Facebook was steadily gaining, and one of the others went way up and then back down again. I've forgotten which one. I think it was YouTube. So yes, so describe the details then. What in the detail paragraph, quote the data from the chart that supports your overall description. Here is an example. Okay. So what are we going to look at in this graph? There's our description. This graph shows the proportion of 4 different materials that were recycled from 1982 to 2010 in this particular country. All right, so we're going to describe this. It's a line graph, right? And we're going to look at the trends. We've got a rising trend there. We've got a drop. This one was overall rising, but it dropped in 1990. Paper and cardboard also dropped in 1990 and continued to rise, but then began to do and then rose, but then it began a gradual decrease from 94 to 2010. Okay, these are all of the things that we're going to write down. What happened in 1990? What a peak for paper and cardboard. Look at the rates of increase. Slow and gradual increase of recycling of plastics. A strong continuous increase in aluminium. All right. So there you have it. So write the notes about the data points, and then you can write the relationships. So after class, you can come back to this page and write this as well. If you would like me to look at your writing and help you with it or make any comments, please contact me over WhatsApp or with my email address. Either one will do. Okay. So more resources for that. The IELTS academic writing practice tests all have samples. Highly recommend it. So with those, which I know I've shown you before, I can pull that up. So with those IELTS academic writing practice tests, I know I've shown you this before. The great thing about these is they do have a sample answer. I'm sorry? Oops, okay. They do have an example essay as well. So it's a good chance for you to take a look at how you can do that. It's a good way to check your work. So there we go. Oh, there we go. But so do look at those. Don't forget to use the word overall so that you've got an overall statement. If you're looking for language to describe data shifts, the BBC Biz economy section is your happy place. That's the so if I actually hit that, let me see. Yeah, it's going to pop up. So the economy section of the BBC will have articles on changes. Unemployment rate rises to 5%. Okay, so this is going to give you really good collocations for changes in levels of numbers. So bank says inflation has peaked. Okay, what does it mean to peak? It means rise to the highest point. It's from which it will likely fall. Okay, so it's a really useful website. So that's why I have included it there. All right. All right, the notes you make on all of these, I can't say it enough times, the notes you make at the first 5 minutes will determine half your mark. Figure out the background information, identify the position and opinions of the topic. So remember those value words: best, necessary, what are those words that guide you to what is the main meaning of that question? Okay. And then make sure you get the format right. Make sure that your position is stated in the introduction and you've got those body paragraphs. All right. So here's a sample. Some people think animal testing for medicine and cosmetics should be banned. Others think it is necessary to agree to guarantee human safety. Discuss both the views and give your own opinion. And what do? So immediately you know what it is. What are the two sides? We've got banned or necessary. Okay, animal testing, should it be banned or is it necessary? Those are our value words. And now, there we go. You can put into a chart, what are your reasons for thinking either way? Or what are the ideas that you can think of that would support either direction? And then once you've got all that down with some beautiful examples, so these are good, but you might want to add some further examples. Then you're ready to write. And when you get your first paragraph, when you get halfway through your first paragraph and your mind goes blank, you've got these notes to remind you what you're going to be writing about so you can focus on that grammar and vocabulary, right? So, and there once again are the resources for this. And then the speaking test is the end of the road. So, and I showed you the examples, right? We've got all the parts of it, and we've got so how they build in complexity. All right. Did you notice she used modals in the questions in part 3? What would be best? Will those people be famous in the future? Who will be the celebrities in years to come? Lots of value judgments and things like that to focus on there. All right. So think about those. That's when your grammar is going to shine. We don't think about giving opinions as having as using more complicated grammar. And this is the cool thing. You don't have to worry about how complex your grammar is if you're answering the questions. All right. Because you will use conditionals if you answer the question correctly. Oh, well, I think that because sports is increasingly popular, that sports people will continue to be the most famous and respected in the future. It's a complex, I didn't use any complex language, but that was a complex sentence. All right. So the wonderful thing is that if you're answering the questions, you will actually be using the language you need and you won't have to focus too tightly on it. So very much like in the writing exam and the opinion piece, what, should people wear clothes? Well, it's not necessary. I think they should. I think they shouldn't. You're using complex language just to answer the question. So the more you focus on your communication, on what you want to say, the more grammar you're going to end up using. All right. So, if you want to practice speaking tests so that you feel more fluent and comfortable, once again, contact me on WhatsApp or through my email address, and I would be happy to practice, to let you practice a speaking exam. I'd be very happy to do that. No problem at all. If we would like a session on pronunciation, then let me know once again over email or WhatsApp. We can work on some pronunciation areas. One of the ones that is really helpful is getting the rhythms right. And it makes everything more understandable. The wonderful thing about getting the stress rhythms right in English speaking is that even if you've got a vowel wrong or you've left off a consonant, if the pattern and rhythm of your speech is the same as what people are expecting, they'll still understand you, even if your pronunciation is not quite there. Okay? So, breathe, read the question. Read the question again. Now answer. You can do this. I know you can. So keep practicing, and and stay in touch through WhatsApp or here. Fast Track IELTS, my favorite. That's no longer the correct link. I'll fix that before I send it off to you. Anyway, more 6-minute English. I'll keep sending links in the WhatsApp group. If you've got any questions at all, ask them now. And thank you so much for joining me.